Hi, welcome back to my channel, Playing with KP. I'm Kimmy. Today I am going to kind of start setting up my 2024 planners for next year. These are my two primary planners I'm going to be using. This one to take on the go, and for like the big plans, this one's going to be for like my weeklies and dailies as needed. And I did order tabs for this one from Coffee Monsters Co. Mostly because I thought this would match. And looking at it, I don't love it, but I think it's better than the gray. I'm actually probably going to use both. Eventually, it'll get kind of a mishmash anyways. But I thought originally that this wouldn't look quite so yellow with the brown. I don't love it, but it'll work. I'm not going to go through and buy any more. This is my first order from them. I did not know they had these little like bean stamp cards. That was kind of exciting. And then it did come with like a little sample. So I don't know. I did go through and I was thinking maybe I should put a pen loop on here, but frankly, I don't like how one, the pages warp, and two, how much extra bulk is added by this. So if I go for a pen loop, this is not going to be the way. I do have an Erin Condren pen loop that I recently found, so I might see about maybe sticking this onto the back of it, but even that, again, might be just more bulk than I would like. I mean, I guess that's not too bad. I don't know. We're gonna kind of see how we feel as we go. I'm not specifically sold on it one way or the other, but this one is definitely not happening, at least not this point in the year. These, I must admit, are smaller than I expected. So these are like the little itty bittiest tabs ever. And I want them for my daily pages. I think some people also put them on their weeklies, but right now I really just want them for my dailies because I don't necessarily go that far in advance on my weeklies. So I don't even know how to explain it. Like, there's no point to putting them on the weeklies. First off, I think you only get, what, 4 or 5 pages per month, which sounds kind of like a waste to put a tab. And then on top of that, I just want to use like the little weekly tab. Am I in screen? Yes. I want to use the little weekly tab, and then that can migrate on my weeks. And again, I don't do that much future planning on my weeklies. So this is the first page of the month. And I always like my tabs on the left. That way when you grab them, they open to the page you want versus like putting it here and then you'd have to like flip it to the front page. Does that make sense? And then one thing I remember seeing in her, like, I don't know, tutorial of sorts, her video, was that these are like unidirectional, I guess you could say. So you have to be careful that your heads go in the same direction. Now the question is, do I want my heads on the top or on the bottom? Because, let's see, how big are they in comparison to this little square, which is exactly my plan of how to line them up. Oh, they are like exact. So if I do this here, then I'm still going to be able to see February right underneath that. Cool. Okay, so then we need to use this square to line up. How does one do this? Let's see if we can put like a different color background. Okay, anyways, that's the theory. My head's probably going to get in the way while I do this. So we're gonna pause the video for a few. All right, so I'm not 100% sure, but this is my best idea so far for the cover, is to put this sticker on. So I haven't decided, I'm not going to stick it yet, but I did want to kind of tie in colors that kind of work with it. I've got these like metallic Avery tabs. These are the little mini guys. And I was thinking those might be good to use for these so that they're removable. I'm not sure they intended it to be like removable. Obviously, they're just, supposed to be stock, but that's kind of what I want. And so I was thinking the gold kind of ties in with the cream color and then the feet, and then the rose gold isn't an exact match, but I feel like it works with the tabs a little bit better. So I'm going to probably use both of these. And then I was kind of trying it out size-wise to see how these labels go on here. It's a little funky. I thought this one was cute, but it wasn't like one of my main ones that I'm going to be using. Alternately, I may just switch it up and go with these labeled with my label maker and or plain. I don't really know, but that's kind of how it would look if you were just to wrap it around like a regular Avery tab. As for these guys, there is, I don't know, a learning curve, and perhaps I should have like had it closed to line them up so that the spacing would be even. But I mean, for first try, I don't think it's too bad. The other thing is I don't expect my planner to be perfect, so it's a little wonky. That's just user error and not planning it out probably as precisely as I should have. If you watch her video, she does line it up properly. What I was doing, just in case anyone was curious, was I basically was trying to look from this page to the page behind it for the coloring to know where to line this up between kind of where that started. And then along with that, because there are kind of an odd number of days in some months, let's see if I can find you an example because I don't know off the top of my head. So this one goes to my monthly on the left, but there are months. Okay, that's one on the left too. Here's one. So I had to choose between putting it here between my monthly page and my first day versus basically the last day of the prior month, because if I put my tab here, then it would automatically pull me to my monthly. But then putting it on in April just felt weird when the tab is for May. So if it was a situation like this, I chose to put it between the monthly and the first day, whereas other months, it's between the last day of the month and the new month. Apparently it's leap year. That's kind of exciting. Anyway, so that's kind of how my tabs turned out. Like I said, not perfect, but I don't expect it to be. The other thing is, same thing again, user error. You can see like September, October-ish. I hope you can see at least. There's like a smidgeny line of the sticker behind it. And then you also see that on some of the others from the backside. I fixed December, but then I decided I didn't care to go back and redo the other ones. It's not her tabs. It's definitely user error because January is like perfectly lined up. But if you like fold it at a little bit of an angle, you do end up with a little discrepancy, like see July. I hope you can see that. I don't know if it's picking up on October. I think September is probably the most obvious. Yeah, so same thing, you can see it November, September from this side. Just something to be aware of. I'm kind of going back and forth on my tabs because like this one has a daily, which is pretty much why I bought it, so that I can tab my daily and it'll just be easy to flip to whenever I get there. Same thing, and I think the glasses and the pencil would be kind of cute. But these ones don't have a daily, but I do have a yearly, weekly, monthly, and notes sections. And I mean, technically I put my tabs on my dailies, so these would be good for the others. I don't know if I should use these like I did on here, just like the start of that section, and then I can use these guys because it's got the same list, basically. I don't know if I should be using maybe the gray ones as repositionable Avery tabs, and then these guys, maybe that's what I'll do. Is that like obnoxious though to have? I guess the only ones of the repositionable that I would be moving would be, yeah, monthly, weekly, and daily. Ugh. Because the yearly isn't going to change, I don't think. How many yearlies do we have? So I guess there's this yearly. And then my index, which is kind of like a yearly. And then we go into monthlies. I've seen in other versions, because I got the English, which perhaps I should not have, I don't know. There were a lot of extra things in the Japanese one that I just didn't want to have to try and figure out how to cover up / reuse. So I did go for the English one, but I think some of the Japanese ones you can start in December. This one you can't. I mean, you get a monthly December, but before January, it's just weeks. Like there's no extra whole month for working. Like it just goes straight into January from your months. It is kind of fun that they give you the pre-planning. I don't know. So I guess that's kind of my thought, which is not a lot of thoughts, but it is. Maybe that's what we'll do. So we'll do, I don't know. How does anyone decide on tabs? Like I definitely need a weekly and a daily. So, and there's copper and there's rose gold. So I want to make sure the copper does not match. I want to make sure that stays far, far away so I don't accidentally use that one. And I don't know. Maybe we'll put these guys on. That way we've got a matching assortment on the top. I'm going to just tack this in the front cover. I may end up using it, but it was mostly just a trial to see what it looks like. I guess alternatively, I could just trim these down so that it doesn't have that border, but I'm not sure if I can like wing it that well on the cutting. And then because there's basically only 2 options for the yearly, I might stick it in between the 2. If there were more than that, then I probably would just do this front one. But then it gives me the option to flip forward or backwards, depending on if I want my index or my exercise tracker. Oh, why is it so complicated? The other thing is, do you put the tabs out from there or in the beginning? Okay, so I need a tab over here on the farthest right. Let's see, what do I normally do? My planners for my Erin Condren usually has the tab way in the, like way inside the binding to open it that way. I don't know. I'm not sure I want to pull these little dinky tabs all the way from the binding though. So maybe I'll put my yearly, weekly, monthly and note in here, and then I'll put maybe my notes out here. I might not even do a notes because frankly, my notes pages I plan on using in case of emergency kind of information. What the heck happened there? So I wanted to use the addresses for doctor's appointments. And then here would be the technical notes pages. But same thing, I wanted to put my mom's health information, my grandma's health information, and then we'll do myself and my husband, and then these would be doctors for us. So that's kind of the thought process. I guess I could put see, I don't know how to use any of this like middle stuff. It's kind of a waste, at least right now. Maybe I'll find a purpose for it later. I wonder if I should put the notes over here. That way I can get to the doctors, and then I'll have in tab labeled ICE for in case of emergency for these other ones. I don't know, you guys. This is complicated. I also suspect in the end, I can either just cut them off, rip them off, or ignore them. Because frankly, I have no idea how this is going to hold up over the course of a year anyways. Oh, hold on, let's go to a daily. Because depending on where I decide to put my tabs for my dailies, that will change. Like, okay, so if I have writing here, I'm probably going to put my tab all the way out here. That way it's not interfering with me being able to check things off. So yeah, I guess we're gonna go sticking over here on the left. And then I will be back, the same thing, my head's gonna get in the way. Okay, and then so now that I've done the yearly, monthly, weekly, those are done. That's kind of what it looks like. I'm going to hold off on the notes and the daily until I decide how I want to do this. I'm not necessarily 100% sold on loving this, but we're going to kind of just throw it in here and see how I feel about it. And that'll tell us whether or not in the next couple weeks I will be okay looking at it like this for a whole month. My alternative would be to cut it down and then it won't be sticking out so awkwardly. Or I was thinking I could, before sticking them on here, just cut off the random gray stripe, which is helpful when putting them directly on the pages, but in this scenario, it's kind of just strange. So I'm going to kind of think about that for a little while. I do really like them just solid. And then I do have a label maker, so I can put labels on them myself if I need to. I do like how these are nice and small. I'm not necessarily worried about anything happening to them. They might get crushed over the course of the week. It's the nature of tabs, especially when they're paper, but they are kind of like a thick, I don't know if I'd go as far as cardstock, but they feel pretty well made. Next, I want to start with this planner. So I'm going to just go through and start adding in what I do know for the year. Usually I start with birthdays and holidays, anniversaries. I think holidays are already in here, which would be nice. Of course, there's no holidays in August. But it does say autumn and it does say Grandparents' Day. So I don't need to add holidays. That's kind of one of the frustrations I've had with my current planner was I didn't fill in Thanksgiving and Christmas. And then I was like, oh shoot, that's a holiday, kind of after the fact. So I do appreciate the holidays are in here. I wish we didn't necessarily have 2 calendars worth over here. I don't need to reference that much pre-planning or back planning, and or I'd just turn the page personally. But I mean, you can't say there's not writing room. You just go to the middle section instead. So I think we're going to start with this, and then first is going to be birthdays and anniversaries for family members. I forgot. I got distracted. I have to decide on my color code system, which we need to decide in here because I have ideas of what I want. This is silly. Oh my goodness. I don't know what this is. It looks like a monkey with giant Dumbo ears. That's so funny. Perhaps we will use one of these pages to practice what my color coding is going to be, because 365 days. I don't know what that would be for. My concern is it might take over whatever's on the back side of the page. So we'll do this one because I'm not going to be making any of these recipes. My thought process is, how do I explain this? Okay, so my current one, where's my planner? I don't even know what I did with my planner to show you my current color coding system. Okay, we're going to skip it. Anyways, things that are not changing on my color coding system would be my husband and myself. So pink and blue will probably eternally be for us. And then the tricky part is what to do with purple. So currently my grandma is purple, but purple is both hers and my grandma, or both my grandma and my mom's favorite color. But I don't know of a second favorite color for my grandma. I think way, way, way back in the day, my mom used to like yellow. So if we go for yellow for her, that means I need to redo my current yellow. So this would be for mom. Ooh, and you can tell it's there, but it's not like crazy intense. And this one's a Sharpie. I don't know how the S note changes anything. I guess it's probably not quite as inky, but that's kind of good to know. And then we've got, so I've got two other things that I track, and then I need like a generic color for friends and family that's not really associated with me, but I keep track of anyways. I like the gray because it's good for like a weekly, just random bullet points. And then, let's see, this is my art box. I could use, so green is an option. This kind of like reddish, brownish, orangish color is an option. The other thing is one of them is going to be done in, I think, January of next year, maybe February if it extends a little bit. So these aren't necessarily like lifelong colors I need to choose. It could just be like a short duration until it's done with. But I also like to have options. So on the offhand chance this blue one runs out, then I have like more blue colors that I can just pick, and I know blue is blue is blue, so it's not a big deal. This one I do have an alternate orange, I do have an alternate green. And both of these I have used quite a bit because you can see they're almost done. And then here's tan maybe. I feel like this should not be so hard to do. So this is going to be like other people. This is going to be one large project. And this is going to be another large project. The other thing I wanted to try out, let me go grab it, hold on. Oh, actually I have it here. So we all know that my favorite pen is, not favorite, but like of the G2 options, I love, love, love the 10. The issue is I have no idea how dark this is going to be on this planner. Like, is it absolutely a no-go? Is it a, I might be able to work with it kind of scenario? I don't know. There's the 10. Here's the 7. It's just so scratchy. I don't like these pointy, scratchy pens. Oh, and that's even worse. Yeah, that top one is pretty dark. I'm not sure I would do that. The 7 and the 10 are both sufficient. Also both scratchy. This is the pen that came with my order because I ordered directly from the Hobonichi. And this one's not quite as scratchy as the others, even though it is the itty bittiest little size font thing. It says it's, does it say? I feel like it should say what size this is. I guess not. Oh well. The other thing is these seem to smear a bunch. This pen does not. I wish I had chosen one with their graph paper size. Does that look about the same, graph paper? Okay, I mean, I can write small enough to get in these lines, which I also probably should have figured out beforehand, but my thought was, even if I can't, then you just write in 2 lines worth, right? I don't know. I don't know where I was going with that. Anyways, so this is going to be my color coding system. I think that includes everything. So I guess we'll use this one. So this is for me. This is for Josh. This is for Grandma and Mom. And then this is for other people. This is for one project and the other project. Okay, so one thing to be aware of is my yellow, at least, I don't know if I went over that once or twice. It does transfer. Same thing for my smudginess over here, showed up on the left side. Not necessarily like a deal breaker, but just good to know. Okay, so then we're going to use these colors to fill out this guy for next year.